we've been dealing with cannabis for years now, and especially in the legal states, all of these growers have been crossing genetics to get higher THC content, higher CBD content, and that's kind of led us into this hybrid hole almost. Where we're still labeling things as sativa and indica, but truly everything is a hybrid.
Okay, welcome back, Liz.
Thank you.
Liz Peterson now.
Yes.
Freshly married. We're going to talk about our favorite thing today.
I'm so excited.
Let's debunk it. Let's debunk sativa and indica.
Oh man, I don't know. Is the audience ready?
I don't think anyone's ready. But it's something that I think as the cannabis industry evolves and matures and we're able to market and communicate about the plant more, we're going to be having this conversation a lot. There's a lot of people having the conversation. So let's talk about what sativa and indica and hybrid are, which is going to take us down a journey into terpenes.
Yeah.
So what is sativa and indica?
Well, I mean, there's all kinds of definitions out there, but as we commonly know, sativa, it comes down to the plant's genetics and how the plant is grown. So we start with sativa, and those are normally taller, lanky, kind of thinner plants. They've got real thin leaves, and they don't produce as much cannabinoids or terpenes all around.
Okay.
So then when you go into indicas, you've got these short, bushy, more dense plants, and they have a higher yield for cannabinoids, terpene content, pretty much everything.
Trichomes.
Trichomes, all the things.
So that's it right there. I don't know if anyone picked up on it. Liz just used sativa and indica to describe what the plant does, not how you feel. And that's really the big debunk moment there is sativa and indica are typically words used to describe a plant and its genetics, not how you feel. Now, there is some cross-correlation, but it's not the correlation that I think we're currently using.
Yeah, because currently on the market today, you'll see a product labeled as sativa, but what is actually making it a sativa? Because when you break it down, it just comes down to how the plant's grown.
Right.
But then when you really look at it, you want to look at everything. You want to look at terpenes. You want to look at cannabinoid content. Is it high in CBD, high in CBG, or high in THC?
Or does it have CBN in it?
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, that's wild. Terpenes, that might be a new word for anyone listening. Can you explain what those are?
Yeah, so terpenes are, in scientific term, terpenes are an aromatic compound, and that's going to be these. These are common aromatic compounds.
Got it. Always trust the scientist to bring her molecule models.
Yes.
So they're aromatic, so they're they're what you're smelling.
Yep.
Cannabis isn't the only thing that has terpenes.
Yep. Real life definition would be a terpene is something that gives it its smell or taste.
Okay.
So when you go into other products besides cannabis, there's coffee, food, and then even animals produce their own terpenes. So commonly known as pheromones, but it's it's a constituent of a pheromone. So you've got to have pheromones or you've got to have terpenes to have that
to have
specific
pheromones.
scent.
So we produce our own scents.
Yeah.
That's wild. Riley, who's a cannabis scientist that you and I swoon over. She's talking a lot about poopines right now.
Yes.
But that's the smell that comes from poop.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And that cannabis has some of those poopines in
Yep.
them.
Yeah. There's a lot of strains that you're like, why does this smell like poop?
But I want to smoke it.
Yeah.
It's funny. Yeah, I feel like Riley is just, I'll always think of poopines now.
Always.
So terpenes, they're what you smell, but they do so much more than just give you that aromatic thing. They're really rounding out a feeling when you go to consume a product. So for someone who might be listening and their hearts just got broken that when they're picking a product based off of whether it's titled sativa or indica, let's break down some tools that they can use. So if it's not hybrid or sativa or indica, what is it that they should be looking for? And where do you think it happened where it just got misappropriated to what it actually means?
I mean, honestly, I think it was just a marketing thing of just how to easily label this plant as one thing, because when you talk about cannabis, there's so many things that affect how you're gonna feel.
Right.
So when you go to market that, it's I need something to be able
grasp
to
onto.
Yes.
Yeah. But man, they really kind of bastardized it by using just sativa
and it's been going on
indica.
for years and years.
Right.
And now trying to retrain the market and re-explain what these terms actually mean it can break the marketing scheme a little bit.
I know we had to like come up with our own words
Yeah.
to try to be like, we really don't want to call this sativa or indica.
Exactly.
So what can someone be looking for in the makeup of a product to help them determine their desired outcome, which is all anyone's looking for when they're having that conversation around sativa or indica?
Yeah, so you'll commonly hear, indica is got you feeling in the couch.
In the couch.
Yeah. And if that's something that you're looking for, then you want to break it down, like I said, to the terpenes. You want to look for strains that are high in myrcene or pinene or even have higher contents of CBN or THC.
'Cause that's going to give you that more like sedative
More
type
sedative,
feeling.
like relaxing. Again, into couch.
Okay. I'm sorry. When you say into couch, I think of that ad. I don't know how long it was, but it was like a girl on the couch, and then she became like flat.
She's flat, fully melted.
Yeah, and they're like trying to. It was like when Dare was
trying to
thing, too.
slander it almost.
Yeah. It was like, wait, I think you just turned a lot of people off to that.
That's what a lot of people are looking for.
Yeah. That's funny. Love the old school drug campaigns. So that's indica. That's what you could be looking for. How about if someone wants a more like uplifting type experience?
Yep. So uplifting, you're going to want to look for those citrusy, earthy tones. So things like pinene and limonene.
Okay.
Anything that is more citrus. That's really the key there. And then high in CBD or CBG.
Okay.
You'll notice those higher contents in CBG and CBD because of how the plant is grown and the more dry environments that like sativas prefer.
Okay.
And so that would be my suggestion.
Yeah. I think it's always so cool to tie it back to the plant, right? Because we get really hung up on like end products or like a gummy or a pre-roll or anything. But like the outcome that you're experiencing when you consume one of these products really comes down to how that plant was grown.
Exactly.
And like the genetic makeup of the plant and how that grower that stewarded the plant like kind of expressed those genetics through putting it under intentional stress so that it like produces more of one thing.
Exactly.
How they cure it. We talk about cure so much when we're flower sourcing. Like, did they nail the cure? Because it's kind of like I would say curing is like, okay, I'm trying to think of a sports analogy. I'm the worst person for sports analogies.
Oh, yeah,
okay,
girl,
soccer.
I can't help you with sports.
Like you're kicking the ball all the way down the field, and then you just like don't kick it into the goal.
Yep.
And so if like you don't cure this flower right, you just like you miss it. Like you're just
full miss.
So it really comes down to like how did that grower or process or cure it and preserve things like the terpenes and trichomes, which affect the cannabinoids.
And did they do any additional steps during that grow? There's so many ways that you can heighten that terpene production during the process of growing, like your lights that you use. Your trichomes and your terpenes are kind of like a stress a defense that the plant produces. So there's ways that you can lightly stress your plants and allow them to produce more of those.
It's so cool.
Yeah, I know.
It's so nuanced.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. That gives, hopefully if you're listening, that gives you some context to what you're really choosing when you're looking at products that have a label of sativa or indica. And if you're flipping that product over and there's not terpenes listed out, I would be questioning it and, trying to maybe find a product that is involving something like terpenes or something more full spectrum so that you can really match your experience with what you're, going for. Okay, so another myth we could bust here is maybe that, like, at this point, we don't really have a fully, like, sativa dominant or indica dominant genetic or product. Yeah. Tell me about that.
Correct. Because of all the years, we've been dealing with cannabis for years now, and especially in the legal states, all of these growers have been crossing genetics to get higher THC content, higher CBD content, and that's kind of led us into this hybrid hole almost. Where we're still labeling things as sativa and indica, but truly, truly everything is a hybrid.
Right.
And then that, again, breaks down to the cannabis cannabinoid content, because no strain is only THC or only CBD. You've got this full blend, this full spectrum of cannabinoids in the plant. And so I firmly believe that everything on the market is a hybrid.
Right. And then I hear you a lot when you're like explaining the flower to our sales team and things like that. You use the term leaning because it can lean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so tell me about that.
I really just don't like to use the term sativa and indica, because I feel like it puts you in this hole that's not scientifically accurate, and you want to use something to accurately describe the plant, which leaning, I think, is the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the terpene content and you look at the breakdown of a specific variety, you'll find that a plant will have a high content of limonene, which is more sativa leaning, but then it could also have a high content of myrcenine, which is indica leaning. So then you're truly, you've got a hybrid here.
It's a hybrid.
And how do I even explain this? Well, how's it going to make me feel? But if it has a higher percentage of limonene, that's where you would use the term sativa leaning. Yes. Because you will get that relaxing, sedative feeling, but then you can also maybe feel a little bit more creative, or, a little like, I'm going to get up and go do something fun.
Yeah, like laundry.
Yeah.
I love sativas for like housework days.
Oh, yeah, me too. Like, take a high CBG and just a little bit of THC, and then I'm doing all my housework.
When you're looking at that, when you're sourcing a lot of our inputs and things, are you particularly looking at the terpenes to determine a desired effect outcome?
Yeah.
Obviously, cannabinoids we know, have probably the most effect on your outcome.
Definitely.
But then secondary to that, you're looking at terpenes.
Yes, definitely. Really cool. Yeah, so when you'll see a lot of our new products coming out,
which Liz helped us formulate.
Yes, those were specifically picked based on the cannabinoid. We start with the cannabinoid content and what that ratio is going to be, and then from there we pick a terpene blend that will, best fit that product. So it'll keep you in that same feeling profile.
Yeah. There's also a lot of science coming out around terpenes right now. I know my friend Danny Fontaine, who's on another episode, has several white papers in process right now all about aromatics and terpenes. And I believe she's working with Dr. Russo, who is doing the terpene blends that we used, that have a ton of, scientifically backed research showing terpenes really are what's driving this.
They're the answer.
They're the answer. And here we are, focused on the cannabinoids, and terpenes are like, hello.
Yeah, hi, don't forget about me.
So terpenes. Pick your terpenes smart.
Yep.
Look for products that have terpenes and that are calling the terpenes out accurately. And then stop calling things sativa and indica.
Yep.
And
just for the sake of marketing.
Just for the sake of marketing. And really, I think get to know what the product is, what the genetics were in it, how the plant was grown, things like that.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, you mentioned about marketing. It's a marketing ploy. So it's why we reformulated everything that we did, because as science comes out, more research comes out, we want to make sure we're always putting our best foot forward. And so we have some really exciting new products coming to market in the new year, in 2024. So be sure to stay tuned and check us out.
Can't wait.